Welcome to Blitz Interviews. Like the game of chess, it only lasts 10 minutes. I have a pleasure to have Vladimir here from Profoto. Profoto is a very interesting company that doing not exactly cybersecurity devices, but something we potentially use day by day. Vladimir, can you tell me a bit more about yourself and the company?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Vladimir, and at Profoto, I'm a CEO right now, and actually also mobile development manager. So what it means that I'm very much involved in all Profoto ecosystems, in making the company run well and efficient, but also in the development of all our mobile products like Profoto Camera, Profoto Control, all devices which works with mobile over the Bluetooth, like our Flashesh B10, A10, C1, etc.
I guess by the name of the company, Pro, you guys are designed to work with professionals, and you guys creating a photography equipment. 5-10 years ago, expensive photo equipment was only designed or tailored to very professional people. But right now, all of us have iPhones, Androids that can take amazing pictures. You guys did something very interesting to make this picture even better. What it is?
Right. So yeah, that's a very good question. And I think we need a little bit of history about Profoto here, that Profoto is 57 years old company. And when I first came here, I was like really impressed with the product line, with all the people working here, and how we work with flashes, right? And as you said, indeed, we've been a company for professional photographers for all this time. And only in recent years, I think like from 2015, we start looking into bigger audience, or for non-professionals who work only in the studio, but also for people who goes for outdoor events, for goes for the weddings, and you know, like some other shooting. And that was a time when we created devices like B10, A1, A1X, and then later A10, etc. And now, as you very good mentioned, that we enter in the world of mobile phones, right? And in our minds, to be a professional photographer, it actually doesn't matter really like which camera you use. It's a lot about the light, about your creativity, about your like personal style. And you know, many photographers, when you ask them like how to become like good photographer, their answer would be, yeah, start with an idea, not with a camera, not with a flash even, right? And here our goal is actually to bring this high-end professional equipment to all our customers, whatever camera they want to use.
So I personally like photography a lot. I've been shooting for quite a while, probably around 10 years. But my interviews usually specialize in cybersecurity. So we'll try to twist it to cybersecurity. Your equipment is not cheap because it's a very high-end equipment. Now, you mentioned mobile photography. From what I know, you guys use Bluetooth protocol to connect from the phone to the device, correct?
Yes, correct.
Now, I'm guessing there is not too much personal information on the equipment itself. So there is no cybersecurity from this perspective. If somebody steals the equipment, nothing we can do, or maybe there is. But what about somebody taking over? What about somebody trying to manipulating my equipment without me wanting it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I think we should look into a couple of different topics here. The first one is how our devices works in general. Like, you know, when you work with a DSLR camera, we have on-camera flashes and off-camera flashes. And for example, for the off-camera flash, you have to have a trigger which would like send a signal to the flash at the end, right? It's like Profoto Connect or Profoto Air TTL devices. You put it on a hot shoe and it goes over the protocol we call AIR. And this is basically a radio protocol. And I think the first issue is security, which we considered comes in this AIR protocol, because it needs to be like secure enough, but also fast enough, right? It also has to not interfere with any other radio signals in the area, right? And now when we have like tons of devices who's working on Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and like wherever can work around you, it's kind of a challenge. So yeah, there is a way to take care of those devices and make sure that we only communicate with our device. And the second layer is the Bluetooth, as you said. And when it comes to Bluetooth, it's a bit of less of the challenge because Bluetooth itself has security standards saying that like they kind of already have like handshake for device integrated, right? When you verify like the hashes and say like, okay, that's my device and I can work with that. But yeah, there is still potential risk because Bluetooth devices in general allow you to connect to it, right? And like start working with it, sometimes without any confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite a big challenge for us when it comes to the firmware update process, for example, because generally, when you work with the device, when it goes to the firmware update process, I think you can look at like GoPro, for example, they have similar issues, I believe. So when it goes to the firmware update process, you have to make sure that you like the data you send in, which is usually like, just blob data without any identifiers or whatever. You have to make sure that that's the right data and the device can install it. Otherwise, device will be bricked. And as you said, it's really expensive equipment and you don't want to have it bricked. So those questions, it's actually been in my time when we implemented this stuff for C1 and C1 Plus to mitigate this risk to update a device with their own firmware or with just raw weird data to not break it.
Any interesting stories that you guys find out during this testing or during this implementation?
Well, I think it was still during the project development, but first we discovered this issue when their own firmware was put to our like staging server, and we installed the firmware from B10 on C1. And that was a little disaster. And on the C1, it's also a funny trick that you cannot update C1 over the USB. So actually, if you break C1, you have to go in a service center or either replace it or just discard it. So yeah, there is a way to restore C1, but I won't tell how to do it. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So there is multiple flashes, the majority of them work over Bluetooth. So with the phone, it's work with the Bluetooth. With the camera, it's work with Air, or Air work over the Bluetooth?
No, Air is our custom radio protocol, which implemented on our Connect and Air TTL devices to work through the camera. And the reason for that, that's how cameras synchronize with the flash. It's actually send the signal in the moment when the capture starts. And basically you have like milliseconds to react. And we made this protocol like very, very fast and very efficient to send this data like as soon as possible to be able to actually get the flash in the frame.
Is that advance in Bluetooth from Bluetooth 3, 4, and 5 make your life easier or harder to develop?
It's a good question because I used to work with Bluetooth quite a lot. And we faced a lot of challenges with that. And I still kind of believe that classic Bluetooth is the better than like BLE, for example, because BLE made for, the battery consumption and for efficiency, right? But the classic Bluetooth at the same time works faster and keeps the connection all the time. If you're familiar with how BLE works, it's always like sending these kind of handshake signals every certain milliseconds. And, when you need the flash right now, that can be a problem.
Makes sense. Vladimir, thank you very much. Anything else interesting we missed about what you guys do?
I think the good topic to mention it's a little bit about like smartphones versus DSLR. That like many people ask me this question, and as I said, our vision is actually to create an ecosystem for the professionals, and at the end it doesn't really matter which device they would go for, as long as they shoot in this light, they create great images, and that's our goal to bring in the world actually.
Awesome, it's a very good goal. Vladimir, thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.